Brooklyn Park firefighters now have new technology to help with medical emergencies. Pafui Yang shows us how it will help people experiencing cardiac arrests and save lives.
Hundreds of people die from cardiac arrest each year in the U.S. And it can happen anywhere, in a public place, at home, and even while driving. But new technology at the Brooklyn Park Fire Department is better preparing firefighters for when they do encounter a cardiac arrest situation. When Brooklyn Park fire trucks speed through the streets, it's not always in response to fires.
In Brooklyn Park, we did about just a little over 8,000 calls total this past year, and 6,000 or more were medical calls.
Jovan Palmieri, Brooklyn Park's deputy fire chief of professional standards, says about 70% of calls are medically related, including cardiac arrests.
So we all have an electrical system in our heart that causes our heart to contract and pump blood throughout our body. When that system fails us, the heart stops and then we go into cardiac arrest.
If cardiac arrest happens, first responders would typically perform CPR. But Palmieri says there's issue with manual compression.
The compression depth isn't always perfect, and people, after doing compressions for a while, can get tired, and then the quality of the CPR may decrease a little bit.
To improve life-saving measures, the department invested in new technology called Lucas and EliGuard. Lucas is an automated CPR device, while EliGuard elevates a person's head and chest.
Studies have shown that when you're doing CPR and you don't have the elevation, if the person's just laying flat, what happens is actually almost a concussion effect in the brain.
The new technology went into service last month, and it's already helped save some lives. In Brooklyn Park, Pafui Yang, CCX News.
Women's clothing retailer Christopher & Banks has started to make layoffs as part of a move to permanently close its Plymouth headquarters. The announcement comes after the company filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy earlier this month. A letter to the state made public this week details the termination of 361 employees from its Plymouth headquarters. The layoffs began January 15th and are expected to continue through early to mid-March. The clothing company has been hit hard by the pandemic, with in-store sales continuing to plummet. It has started closing sales at each of its nearly 450 brick and mortar stores across the country. There are 2 such stores in the northwest suburbs, one in Maple Grove and one in Plymouth. Hennepin County is asking for public input on 8 libraries that have remained closed due to COVID-19. 2 of those closed libraries are Golden Valley and Osseo. The county board approved a measure last fall to reopen those libraries in the first quarter of the year. Now the library is asking residents who use those libraries to take a survey on how often they use the library and when they would visit it. The survey closes on February 2nd. 2020 will go down as a record-breaking year for home sales. The median sales price for homes in the Twin Cities jumped 9% to $305,000, an all-time high. Historically low mortgage rates contributed to the pent-up demand and rising prices. For Maple Grove realtor Brandon Doyle, it was an unusual year with showings staying steady through December, with only a slight drop during the holidays.
Seeing a very high demand for homes, multiple offers, and we continue to have a lack of inventory. So this spring, I kind of anticipate that a lot of sellers are going to go, oh wow, my house is worth way more than I thought it was.
While prices rose, inventory fell 47% this year to now less than a 1-month supply. And that meant homes sold quickly. Half the sales accepted offers in under 18 days. If you're looking for a dining experience for all occasions, Doolittles Woodfire Grill fits that criteria. And as I found out in this week's edition of Takeout Tuesday, if you stop into the Golden Valley restaurant, it might just remind you of sitting around a campfire.
It's traditional Minnesota food.
Hospitality can be displayed in any number of ways, and at Doolittles Woodfire Grill in Golden Valley,
Your nose brings you right over there.
one of their key methods of providing a hospitable environment is by literally using a wood fire.
The first form of hospitality is a campfire. You think back in cave days and all that, a campfire said welcome, it said warmth, it said food, it said hospitality, to share food together.
John Sheehan is one of the owners of Doolittles, an aviation-themed restaurant which has served guests in Golden Valley since 1997. The wood fire is not only representative of sharing good times with family and friends, it's also a big part of how they cook their chicken.
And those juices self-base, so what you have is a very flavorful, imparts the wood smoke into it, but it's also very moist, very juicy, and it keeps that well throughout the meal.
The ambiance is designed to impact the senses.
Yes.
And it certainly had an impact on customers.
It made you hungry as soon as you walked in. It's like, give me my food.
It's our rotisserie chicken.
Rotisserie chicken is Doolittle's specialty, but the menu also includes other traditional American food, things like burgers, sandwiches, salads, and soups, to fresh fish, ribs, and wood-fired buffalo wings.
Well, the food was delicious. The place is clean and, fun to look at, and it was just very, very enjoyable.
Yet even a neighborhood staple is no match for a pandemic that's brought a fair share of turbulence to the restaurant industry.
One of the things that COVID has done was we've had to change a little bit of our business plan to say, okay, how we're going to adapt to a changing environment such as a pandemic. And one of those things is family meals and party platters.
Adapting to this new environment is an important component to weathering the COVID storm. Lucky for Doolittles, they have a loyal customer base that's helping this Golden Valley staple through the bumpy flight.
Can't make it without a community, and it takes a community to allow these businesses to continue to prosper.
In Golden Valley,
I'd be back again in a heartbeat.
Delane Cleveland, CCX News.